Hi guys, it's the Walking Series Dead here, King of the Anime and Manga Unboxers. So today I am doing my Dark Side of Anime video, which was Merlin's anime tag that he's done. And basically, it's the Anime Villians tag. I'm going to list all of the 7 questions that, he made, because I want all of you guys in the comment section below to answer all of these questions. And you can also send me in video responses, and then you can tag people and, set off the chain. So question 1 was, who do you believe is the greatest anime villain of all time? Number 2, who is your personal favourite anime villain? Number 3, who's your least favourite villain, or who do you believe is the most overrated villain? Question number 4 was, who's your favourite group of anime villains? Number 5, your favourite female anime villain character. Number 6 was your favourite henchman, and the 7th question is a question that you come up with and I come up with, and my question is going to be for you guys to answer: who is the most sort of misunderstood and the most sympathetic anime villain of all time? So who's got the most sympathetic sort of backstory, or who's the most misunderstood? So, question number 1, who do I believe is the greatest anime villain of all time? Now this is really difficult because there are a ton of brilliant anime villains out there. But for me, what makes a great villain is the villain has to draw sympathy from the hero, the protagonist, and he has to make the protagonist feel like the underdog, so that he has to overcome the villain, and he has to struggle. So you need to the villain needs to make you emotionally invest in the hero of the series, and only a few really great villains do this in in anime. So I mean, also you've got to have a villain that's got a really well written backstory. He's got to have great character development, and also something that's very important for me is that he has to have complex morals and motives and themes. So there aren't many that are truly top tier villains for me that really do that. So I had to pick Johan. I mean, oh god, he is such a brilliant anime villain. He's got such a mysterious and dark sort of backstory. He's such a sophisticated, well written, complex character, and his goals are really sort of different and complex. They're not, I'm going to take over the world. It's not, I want power. It's not that I want to kill everybody. I mean, I don't want to give them away, but they're just so twisted and dark because of the trauma that he went through as a child, and what he puts Dr. Tenma through and so many other people. I mean, he basically robs Dr. Tenma of his entire life. He strips him of everything. He takes his career, he takes his reputation, he takes his fiance. I mean, he makes him a wanted man. He kills God knows how many people through being a master manipulator. He ruins other people's careers. He destroys families. I mean, he gets small children to commit suicide. This guy is, he's a monster. I mean, it comes from the series. He's a monster, man. He's the last person in the world that you think is going to be a serial killer. He's very softly spoken, he's well dressed, he's well mannered, he's polite, he's very charismatic, but at the same time he's emotionless, and he doesn't care about people, and he doesn't value human life. He believes that human life isn't equal, and this, I don't know, how can you sum up Johan apart from he's not evil, he's not psychotic, he's just a monster. So, question number 2. Who's my personal favourite anime villain of all time? It's got to be Lord Frieza, come on. I mean, it may be a little bit of nostalgia, but, he's the first anime villain that I truly, fell in love with. He was just awesome. He's just this evil tyrant, that just wastes people and just laughs about it. And, he's got his little henchmen like the Doria and Zarbon. But the thing that blew my mind is, about Frieza, is that we've never seen anyone so overwhelmingly powerful in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, even when it was versus Piccolo or Vegeta, I mean, the gap was kind of small between Goku and them, but the gap between Frieza was just astronomical, and it just blew your mind. This guy could destroy planets with his little finger, and he could breathe breath, and he could explode people, and as you could probably see, I absolutely love all of his transformations. I mean, when I very first watched Dragon Ball Z and this guy started transforming 4 times, it blew my mind. I was like, fuck me, I've never seen anything so amazing in my life. It's so fucking cool, and I've had to have all the figures of his transformations, just loved it. And also, just what made him so badass is that, you had like Vegeta and Krillin and Gohan like fighting him like just one against three, and it wasn't enough. And then we had some of my most favourite anime fights is Piccolo versus second form Frieza, and Vegeta when he gets mad fucking arrogant and cocky when he fights Frieza in his fourth form, he gets his fucking ass handed to him. I love those fights. And my favourite, anime fight of all time is Goku versus Frieza. So that's why, he's my personal favourite. It's just so much nostalgia with Frieza. I love him. He's awesome. I know a lot of people think he's simplistic, but I don't give a shit because he's fucking Frieza. That's Lord Frieza, motherfuckers. So, question number 3: who is my least favourite anime villain, or who do I think is the most overrated? And I'm going to go with the overrated choice. And just remember, fanboys, because I know some of you are going to get really butthurt over this, this is just my opinion, and it is Light Yagami. This motherfucker is really overrated. He's the most overrated villain that I've ever seen. People just fanboy out over him, and I don't understand why. And I'll explain why. Look, I'm a Death Note fan. I mean, you can see the box set there, and you can see the box set there. I own all of Death Note, and I do enjoy the series. But he is not top tier villain. I'm sorry. He's not as complex. He's not as deep. He isn't Johan Lieber. He isn't Shinobu Sensui. He's not at that. He's not at that top tier level. And this is why. His character peaks halfway through the series. No character should peak halfway through the series, especially if you're the main character. You should constantly grow and progress till the very end of the series and climax, and that should be the peak of your character development, not halfway through. Death Note goes and it falls apart, after the character peaks, and he essentially accomplishes his goal. Like I said, I prefer villains that make you feel sympathetic and you want the good guy to win. Well, he defeats the good guy halfway through the series, and then they restart it all over again, and it just doesn't feel the same, and it's shit. Let's be honest with you, the second half of Death Note's pretty crappy. The ending's alright, but everything in between that's rubbish, in all honesty. And his character development isn't realistic, because he goes from being a grade A student, generally a good-hearted sort of like kid, wants world peace and all that sort of stuff, to the fact that he finds the Death Note and he becomes corrupted and very arrogant and cocky, and he loses himself. And he becomes a serial killer, for fuck's sake. He also, the cherry on the top is he kills innocent people that are just in his way. That character growth, that character development is not realistic, and the reason why is because what trauma does he suffer? In real life, your psyche changes because of trauma. You don't just become psychotic. You don't just become a serial killer. Look at Johan Lieber, the person I picked as the greatest anime villain of all time. From childbirth, this guy is completely fucked up. He sees murders. He's totally manipulated. He loses his identity. He loses the value for life. As he becomes a child, he becomes a mass murderer as a child. As an adult, he goes through so much stuff from the beginning of his life all the way up to like he's in his 30s, sort of like 40. He's in his late to mid sort of like 30s, I believe, towards the end of the series. Light, I don't know, in the space of a year, goes from being a kid that wants, sort of like world peace and all that sort of stuff, to I'm going to kill innocent people and I'm psychotic and nuts. Sorry, doesn't do it for me, if I'm honest with you. And the other reason is he doesn't accomplish his goals at the end of the day. He sets out to do something and he fucking fails at it, and he dies like a whiny cry little fucking bitch pissing his pants. Have some of that shit. Question number 4: what's my favourite anime villain faction? And there's a lot of great groups of villains out there. I mean, you've got the Red Ribbon Army, you've got the Aroncard, you've got the Atotsuki, you've got Millennium from Gungrave, you've got Inferno from Phantom. I mean, you've got the Ginyu Force if you want to add them as a group. I mean, they're a pretty cool group. But I've got to just go with the Homunculus from the original Full Metal Alchemist, mind you, the original. And the reason that is because they really come across as dangerous and a threat, and I've never felt a threat from a group of villains as much as I has from the homunculus from the original FMA. And the reason this is because they kill characters, and you don't really see villains kill a lot of characters. They kill Dr. Marco, Father Cornello, they kill Hughes, they kill tons of little cannon fodder characters along the way. I mean, they even kill Ed at the very end of the series. So they're extremely dangerous, and that's what I love about them. I mean, you don't ever see a group kill off important characters. You just really don't, and that's what I love about them. And what I love about them also is, there's 7 characters, and all 7 of them are very unique. They've all got their different personalities. They've all got different designs and looks. They've all got their different powers. Each of them are very different, and they each represent the sin they are: lust, pride, greed, sloth, wrath, so on and so on. And I also, the cool little touches, I like the Ouroboros tattoo on them. That's really cool. That's a nice little touch. So yeah, the homunculus are my favourite group, hands down. So guys, question number 5: who is my favourite female anime villain? This was a tough one because it's kind of hard. There aren't a great deal of female villains. I mean, there's Priscilla, and there's Medusa, and there's Arachnophobia woman from Soul Eater. I can't remember her actual name. Is it Arachnophobia? I'm pretty sure it is. But there's just one woman that I love as a female villain, and I'm gonna have to go back to Full Metal Alchemist and the original Full Metal Alchemist. It's Lust. It's Lust, such a good female villain in my opinion. Even though you could argue that she sort of becomes an anti-hero, sort of towards the end of the series, which she does, but for the large portion of the original Full Metal Alchemist, she is a villain. I mean, she's very mysterious and seductive, so that fits her character of being Lust. And she's like a puppet master from the shadows. And at the beginning of the series, she's really cruel and really sadistic, because she does kill people, and that's why I go back to the group thing. The homunculus do kill characters of Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly, she kills Father Cornello. I'm pretty sure I had a picture of her killing Father Cornello actually. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go. I was right. Her ultimate spear, right through the head. And that's one thing I really like about her characters, this whole ultimate spear thing where her fingers elongate and they can cut through sort of any man-made object. So she's, in a sense, she's kind of like a female Wolverine. Her claws can't be broken and they cut through everything. There's nothing they can't cut. So that's a really awesome little power. And obviously she can regenerate, which is another awesome power. And she gets, in the original Full Metal Alchemist, the best character development and the best backstory. I mean, you really start to sort of feel for her, how her goal is, she wants to become human again because, she's been resurrected from the dead to become a homunculus, and she'll do anything that it takes to become human so that she can feel like she's got a soul and, that she can feel, real, basically. So you do feel a great deal of sympathy for her character, and you do feel really good when she sort of comes over to the good side, when she becomes allies with Ed and Al, and she fights against the homunculus. So, but as a villain, I just love her, man. She's she's sort of sexy and seductive, but at the same time she's a stone cold killer. So that's what I love about Lust. So question number 6: who is my favourite anime henchman? Now this is another tough one, and this is why Merlin's Tag's so good, is because there are so many awesome henchmen. I did want to go with Roberto from Monster, but I didn't want to be too influenced by the last thing that I watched. And one of my other childhood favourites is Zarbon and Dodoria, but then I've already picked Dragon Ball, so I'm oh god, who do I pick? And then it came to me. From Gungrave, Bunji Kugashira, or Madman Bunji. This guy, could give Spike a run for his money when it comes to the cool factor. He's got that, just that cocky, laid back sort of attitude. He's kind of like Spike in a lot of ways, and I love his character design. He's got the leather jacket and the aviators, and he's always smoking a fag, and he just looks like a fucking badass guy. And much like Spike's character, I mean, I'm pretty sure they just ripped off Spike's character here, but he's got a really gritty and granity sort of voice, and he just sounds like a fucking badass. And he's an awesome hitman as well. And he's just a really good gunslinger, and he's nearly as good as Brandon Heat. But Brandon's the man, so I mean, he's not as good as Brandon. but he doesn't get a great deal of character development. But you know, he's a henchman, man. He's cool. All I can say is that Bunji Kugashira, he's just a cool, badass hitman. So, question number 7 is the one that I come up with, and that's who is, you know, the most misunderstood or the most like sympathetic anime villain. So, I want you guys to answer all 7 of the questions down below. Send me in video responses, and the people that I'm going to tag are Uberakari, Bushido Spirit, Supreme Guru, GT the King, and I'm going to tag Smoke Raider. So, guys, drop me your comments down below on all the 7 questions. Send me in video responses. If you just found my stuff, you know, please subscribe. Go check out all my unboxings, my reviews, recommendations, top 10 lists, comic book reviews, all the good stuff that I do. Give us the old thumbs up for this tag. Go check out Merlin's original video. Go find everyone else's anime villain tag videos and watch them, because I've been watching them. They're all cool. It's really cool to see everyone's different opinions in the, you know, like the community. So go check out everybody's. I might link a couple in the description box down below. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Code Geass R2 box set on Blu-ray will be unboxed maybe tomorrow, maybe in a few days time, so watch that. See you next time.